Welcome, everyone, to Beyond Life Paranormal Research Missouri's second podcast. I'm here with my guest tonight, Christina Westervelt, and she's here to tell us about some of her upcoming projects. So, without further ado, here's Christina.
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for having me on, Russ.
You're welcome.
Do you mind Russ or do you prefer Russell?
Either or. I'm good with either.
Oh my God, my little arrow mouse was on my face. I'm like, what is that? Oh, it's the arrow on my mouse pad. So yeah, thanks for having me on. This is, my thing. Like I was telling you, I absolutely love doing podcasts, so I was super excited. And I'm your second guest, so that's awesome. I'm happy to help your podcast grow, and it'll be a good one. So
So, tell my audience a little bit about yourself, how you got into the paranormal, and what you do in the field.
So I guess it's my father's fault. I grew up watching Ghost Hunters with my dad, and I grew up. I was like 6 years old watching Hellraiser and all the original like Romero movies, and Pumpkinhead and all the old school horror. Killer Clowns from Outer Space is like my fave. So I grew up on horror movies and ghost shows, and from also a young age, I would go to the haunted house attractions where everyone jumps around up at you. And, now it's bad. Like I'm always at the front of the group and like people jump out and I have like no jump reflex whatsoever. It's like, oh, go get the blonde in the back. Like, so I grew up, around this stuff, and okay, I'm unmuted. It said the host muted your mic, and I was like, what did I do? And so, we used to go to Salem every year, me and my dad, and we do the ghost tours. And the really cool tour, I don't know if they're still running it because I haven't done it in a while, but Salem Paranormal used to run a ghost tour, and I'd bring my K2 meter that my dad got me when I was like a kid. It was like, the old school K2 meters they had on Ghost Hunters where you had to put the coin in to keep it going, because it wasn't the new ones with the button that keeps it on. I still have that in my case, but I never have any coins with me. But yeah, so I just grew up around it, and I unfortunately don't have like some like amazing I grew up in a haunted house and was like traumatized at a young age story, because I wasn't. I didn't, but I was just fascinated by it from a young age. And over the years, when I was like a teenager, early 20s, like a lot of these places weren't allowing teams in yet. It wasn't till the past 10 years, 15 years that like all of these locations started saying, hey guys, if you pay this, you can come investigate this location.
Right.
And when I first started seeing it pop up, I was like, oh my God, like just you're laughing about 9 o'clock, right? And I was like, oh, it's from till 4 a.m. And I was like, I can't stay up till 4 a.m. I'm just like the laziest 20-something-year-old in the world, right? I was like, 4 a.m. No. So finally during quarantine and all that stuff, I said, you know what, screw this. I'm gonna do it, So I ended up meeting my friend Rich, who's a member of my team, and he's the only member of my team that lives near me. We're like 15 minutes away. The rest of us are like, I'm in Jersey. We have people in PA. We have one person in Maryland. Our team's called East Coast Paranormal. And I started a North Jersey paranormal research, and then we ended up meeting a team and we joined with them, and then we all kind of, well, 14 of us kind of jumped ship and started East Coast Paranormal, and here we are, so it moved fast. I've been in the field for about 4 years now, like regularly, seriously, whatever you want to call it, because I used to go to graveyards and I used to go to little thing. Like I said, I went to Salem. I do little mini investigations since I was as long as I could remember. But, I didn't start getting into these major locations until about 4 years ago. And my first one was at Mid-Orange Correctional Facility in Warwick, New York. And
Okay, that's a good place.
that place, it's called the Hudson Sports Complex now, but it's owned by Christian Fuchs, who's apparently a soccer player. I don't watch soccer, but it's so like the whole place is like soccer fields. But they kept the main building and they kept the outskirts, the little buildings on the outskirts and everything. And that place is very active. I've been there twice already, and every time you get some really interesting stuff, and it's so cool. It's such a cool location.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your documentary you got coming out within Haunted Walls.
Yes. So the premiere. So only a small crowd. We did Indiegogo, and we raised $10,000 to fund it. So we had, someone professionally film and edit and everything. And one of the perks was to buy tickets to the premiere. So we're going to be doing the premiere September 30th at the Murdoch Whitney House in Massachusetts. And then we're doing a ghost hunt with them afterwards. So that should be fun. And then the actual release is supposed to be sometime in December. So December 20th was the target date. I don't know what platforms it's going to be on at all yet. That's all Chris's job. But there's definitely going to be DVDs, and we're looking at Amazon and some other, the places to put it up on. But it was fun. It was fun. It was an experience. We filmed it at one of my favorite locations as well, the Shanley Hotel in Napanoch, New York. First of all, Kelly, the owner, and Stephanie, who helps run the place, they're amazing. I love them both. They're great. And oh my God, hold on. There's people commenting and I can't see it. Where is it? There we go. I can see it on here too. Hey, I got Brad, Eric, and Morgs on here watching. Hello. So yes, the Shanley Hotel, I've been there so many times. I've had one of my most profound experiences there, not while we were filming, the year prior to. And it's one of those places, and you hear all these places where people are always like, oh, that place doesn't disappoint, right? And you go there and like nothing happens, right? So every single time I've gone there, whether it's, it might be a quiet night while you're investigating, but when you go to sleep, or it might be the opposite. Nothing will happen at night, but your investigation, like it's crazy active. We wanted to make it PG-13 or PG, not PG, whatever. Anyways, they wanted to make it like not like a vulgar thing, but the spirits of the Shanley are very, they're like mobsters. It was like a mobster ran place. There was the bordella upstairs where the ladies of the nights worked, and there were some very strong male characters there, and we've caught them arguing on EVPs before, like
nice.
back and forth arguing, like no joke. They curse like crazy. Whether it's through like the spirit box, the necrophonic, the EVPs, they curse like crazy. And it's like everywhere else you go, you bring your spirit box, you do your necrophonic, you do up. So Eric was actually part of Within Haunted Walls with me. He's commenting there. Lazy night visited me both nights. I was falling asleep. Not when we were filming though, Eric, right? Oh wait, that's right. You didn't anyways, I can't even get into detail about it, but never mind. So yeah, so the Shanley's amazing. The place is great. That's why we all love that place, and that's why we decided to pick that location. And what happened to me, like, so I always, when I go there with my team, I always stay in the Rose Room. So because the Rose Room was the only one that had its own bathroom. The rest is kind of like hostel style. There's like two bathrooms upstairs. There's a bathroom downstairs. But I had my own bathroom, and I get up to pee a lot at night. So I was like, I'm taking the one at the bathroom. Thank you. Um,
Right.
so the first time I stayed in there, I couldn't sleep. It's hard for me to sleep at locations because I feel like my brain never shuts off from investigating. You know what I mean? So you're just kind of laying there like
Yeah.
waiting. You're like trying to see if anything happens. So it's hard for me to fall asleep at locations. But um but nothing happened when I was sleeping the first time I stayed there. The second time I stayed there, I shared the room with my friend Rich and my friend Megan, and the whole night. So like I'm laying there, I'm trying to fall asleep, and all of a sudden I hear like, and I'm like, so something was like tapping around the bathroom, and you heard the door creaking, just creak, creak. And I'd stayed in that room before. I know this isn't
Mm,
normal noises for the room, right? So I was sitting there and they were both sleeping. And finally I woke my friend Megan up and she's like, Christina. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, do you hear that? I'm like, I've been sitting here for like the last hour listening to this. And she's like, what the, and as soon as she set up and was like, what the hell, it stopped. And then like 10 minutes later, it just started up again. And we just laid there. And finally, I was like, God, it was like a real slow night investigating. We really didn't get a lot of equipment hits. We didn't really have any, like, a lot of crazy personal experiences. But I was like, I took my melatonin and like, I want to go to sleep. Like, could you have done this like 4 hours ago? Like,
right.
um, but the year after, I stayed in that room again, and my friend Anthony, my friend Christina's son, he's our youngest member of the team. He's 19 now, but he's off in the Air Force now. So, he's missed. He did come out to the Grand Midway. He got leave for 2 weeks after boot camp and came a few weeks ago with us to the Grand Midway. But so I was like 4 a.m. We were all done investigating. I went back to the room. He's already passed out with the light on. And I'm like, so I get my pajamas, I turn the light off, and I lay down, and like I put my camera pointing towards the bathroom because I knew I had a lot of activity going on in that bathroom the year before. And I woke up like an hour later, like 5, and I looked, and my battery was dead. And I was like, whatever. Like, these Sony Handycam, like, it's like one of those full spectrum, like, rigged ones.
Okay.
Um,
Yep.
but yeah, I got it at like Ghost Augustine webpage or whatever. But the batteries don't last more than an hour usually,
No, they
anyways.
don't.
No, so I didn't really think anything of it, and I went to go back to sleep, and like just before 6 a.m. I wake up and I go to get up and I can't move. I feel like pressure, like something's holding me down. I can't move, and I start to panic, and I go to yell for Anthony, and like I just can't yell. I can't scream. I can't move. Like I swear you could kind of feel like the bed flex from like just the pressure of me like being
Right.
pushed down into the bed. And I'm just sitting there like panicking, like, what the hell? Like, I don't have sleep paralysis. I've never suffered medically from sleep paralysis. Like, this is the first time for me this has ever happened. So, finally, like, I sat up and was like, then I put my sneakers on and I put my hoodie on. I went downstairs to the common area in the hotel and I sat there for 3 hours till the rest of my team woke up. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like startled, but like that's what we're there for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was startling. It freaked me out, but like I was also like, holy shit, man. And I was like, awesome, but it was terrifying, but it was awesome.
Right.
I had very much mixed emotions about it, but it was cool. Like I said, there's always a lot of interesting activity at that place. Like it's definitely, and when you pull up, you're like, it's like looks like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like on the
Yeah,
outside.
I've been past it a few times when I lived back there in New York.
Yeah, I
Cause
mean it's nicer on the inside. It's old. It's like it smells like a museum. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
it's like inhabitable. It's not like it's just like an abandoned hotel. You know what I mean? Like it's
Right.
actually, yeah. It's just old. The outside looks much worse than the inside does.
Because I used to talk to Sal that used to
Oh,
own the place.
he was just messaging me like right before I hopped on here.
Yeah, I
Well,
used to talk to him
Sal
quite a bit.
Nicolosi Jr. was messaging me.
Yeah, I used to talk to his father when his father was still around, and he used to invite us up there all the time, but we were always so busy we couldn't make it.
Yeah, you should have went. But yes, his son, I talked to, and he's always asking me like every time I go there and stuff. So, that was really awesome. It was a fun experience. It's the first time I really filmed anything. I'm used to doing all my live streams and stuff. I do a lot of the social media stuff for my team. So that was definitely a change of um atmosphere per se, but it was fun. I had a great time. Everyone, Eric was on it, our friend, yeah, Chris Sanders, Adam, or my friend Adam Sanders, and we had Scotty the medium, Scott Davis, who I love.
Okay.
He's from New Jersey as well. I'm from Jersey, but he's like middle Jersey. He's central Jersey. I'm North Jersey, but it matters to us Jersey people. I'll tell you. There's Northern Jerseyers, Central Jerseyers, and Southern ones.
Right. I know that from living in New York too.
Yeah, yeah, I'm like 10 minutes from the GWB, so, and I hate Manhattan. Yes, Taylor Ham, thank you, Eric. I agree. The whole Taylor Ham versus pork roll battle of the Jersey people.
There you go. And you said you got a Sleepy Hollow Paracon coming up?
Yes. So Chris Sanders hosts Sleepy Hollow Paracon. So I'll be there. Unfortunately, Eric can't make it because his wife is having knee surgery. Who I love, his wife Patty. Hi, Patty. I'm sure you're watching with Eric. I love you. Anyways, um, so unfortunately, Eric's not going to be there, but me, Chris, Scotty, and Adam will all be at the con with lots of other awesome people. I'll probably be at the door stamping hands, which I'm very excited that Chris got stamps this year because I was like, can we get stamps? Because I really hated putting wristbands on people. Like, I felt really bad because they keep getting their hair stuck in it. And I was just like, after like, 500, 600 wristbands, you just had enough for the,
Right.
this is just like, doop. So he got us stamps, which I'm very excited about. But there'll be vendors. It's September 16th at the Marriott in Tarrytown. It's called Sleepy Hollow Paracon. I think it starts around 10 a.m. and it goes till about 5 p.m. So that's going to be fun. There'll be lectures and vendors and all that stuff. So
Any famous paranormal
um,
investigators out
there
there?
there's like nothing, no one huge. You know what I mean? They're all like man, they're great. Everyone's great that's on the bill. But there's like, there's no taps people, there's no destination for people. This is
Right.
this is this is really to support like the people that have been, making a difference and a breakthrough in the field, So we
That's awesome.
yeah, so our friend David Childers, he's been on a bunch of like, a bunch of TV shows. We got some teams that are going to be there. There's I don't even know what the rest of the people. There's a flyer. Eric was supposed to be there, Mister. I was on a TV show, but he can't make it, so it's okay. It's okay. Take care of your wife and be a good husband. So I
What
know
are
he's
some
watching this.
craziest places you've been to besides the Shanley Hotel to investigate?
Um, crazy. Oh no, not David. Yes, Dave will be. Yes, I was just on the Brad posted. Oh no, not David. He's actually at HellCon this weekend. So I was just talking to him before. They're doing an investigation tonight, and tomorrow is the convention. So the craziest place, my favorite place to investigate, my favorite location, whether or not it's active or not, which is also another place that I had a very crazy experience at, is Penhurst in Spring City, Pennsylvania.
Okay. Yep.
Um, so I've been going to Penhurst for their haunted house for years for their haunted attraction. And I just always I love the property and like just being there and and then finally, like 4 years ago, we started investigating there, and we rent the place out. We do the private investigations for our team, and it's like for a while we were going like 2-3 times a year, but they switched it. So only like Sunday through Thursday you can do privates, and then the rest Friday, Saturdays, public investigations. So we usually kind of coordinate it because one of our friends on our team, Patrick, he works at Penhurst, but
Right.
we'll usually coordinate it for a Sunday that's like a holiday weekend. So Labor Day weekend or Memorial Day weekend, we'll do it like on that Sunday, so no one's got to work on the Monday after. That's usually when we hit up Penhurst now, and it's for the property is great. You could have a quiet night there and still have a blast because it's crazy. Um, the craziest thing I had happen at Penhurst, and I always get backlash for telling this story because a lot of people thought we faked this, and I don't even care that people thought we faked this because we were like, it was our experience. Well, we saw it, and it's us to enjoy. You know what I
Right.
mean? You know what I mean? So I'll tell you my story, whether or not you want to believe it or not, is totally, I don't care. Don't matter to me. But I wouldn't honestly believe it if I wasn't there when it happened. But we were in the tunnels. We were in the Rockwell tunnel at Penhurst, and it was like 40 degrees out. We all had jackets on, and we had been down there for like an hour. Eric was with me. Eric experienced this. So he can vouch. Eric, his wife Patty, a few of my team members, and my team member Patrick, who was actually our like supervisor for Penhurst. Like he wasn't on our team yet. This is how we met him, and he joined the team after spending a night with us. He just had such a great time with us that he ended up joining with us. But so, we were down there for about an hour. We were getting like little equipment hits. I know. See, right, Eric? He said I was there. It totally happened right in front of us. Bridge and another team member come downstairs into the tunnels and sit down with us. And they were down there for like 20 minutes. And if you've ever been to Penhurst, there's in the tunnels on like each side of the wall, there's like a little lip that's like maybe this big that you can kind of fit like a quarter of your butt on. So we all sit along the walls very uncomfortably, and with little spiders and webs and things crawling on you. But so we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, Rich goes, "Ow!" And we're like, "What?" And he's like, so he like pulls his jacket sleeve up, and now Rich is sitting right across from me, like right across from me in this tunnel. And he's got our other team member next to him. Eric's like 2 people down, and he pulls his sleeve up, and right on his forearm. Now, mind you, Rich is a big dude. He's tall, he's a little round, and he's got a big mouth, literally, and chit chat. His nickname on the team is Chit Chat. Um, so he's got upper and lower teeth prints on
Oh
his
wow.
on his forearm, and it looked like almost they were missing either missing teeth, or it was just like not formed right. And it was tiny. It was not a big mouth print. So it was like a child or a woman, it definitely wasn't like a grown ass dude's teeth print. And the
Right.
most messed up part is if anyone watching has ever been bit by a kid or a dog or a pet, and when you get bit, the print stays there for like 30 seconds, 40 seconds, and all of a sudden it starts puffing up, turning red, and starts to swell, right? So while we're all, including Patrick, who was on our team yet, who works for Penhurst, we're all standing there with the flashlight going, and all you see it just turn red and swell, like right in front of our face. So like this just
Mm,
happened. It's not like he bit himself 20 minutes before, and I don't even know how you do that. Like I was sitting there because
right.
we're a very skeptical team. We try to debunk everything. Like it's very hard to impress us. Let's just put it that way, right? Um, and so he goes, so Rich goes, and it's funny because his reaction was like, "Hey, who bit me?" Like he wasn't, no one was scared. No one was freaking out. We were just all like mesmerized by like the
Right.
situation. And if anyone knows the history of Penhurst, one of the, a lot of the patients used to bite.
Yeah.
And one of the doctors was notoriously known for, as punishment for the patients that would bite, they would yank their teeth out. So the fact that Rich got bit in the Rockwell Tunnel, which was under the building where this was supposed to be all happening, and
Mm,
it looked like there was teeth missing in the teeth prints. So I actually took the photo and showed my dentist because I had a teeth cleaning appointment like 2 days later, and they're like, "It looks like it's missing teeth," and I was like, "Yeah." Like, even my dentist was like, "What the hell?"
right.
So we've had crazy stuff like that happen there. We've seen, and I wouldn't have believed, I mean, we all have caught things in the corner of our eye, right? And
Mm,
usually I dismiss those things because your eyes can play tricks on you in the dark, and so
right.
we were walking out of the Devon building at Penhurst, and it was me and two other people with me. And Penhurst is like in the middle of the woods, and there's like a big field, and then there's walkways, and they're raised walkways, and they have guardrail like railings, and they have like all these lights that like light up the pathway. And I swear to God, we walked out of Devon, and all of us just turned our head, right? So all of us caught something out of the corner of our eye. And it looked like just this black mass running through the field, kind of grabbing the guardrail and like hurtling itself like over it, like a person would grab it and
Mm,
like jump over, and then boom through the playground. And it happened so fast. It was just like, vroom, and like if it was just me walking out of that building, I might have dismissed it. But the fact that all three of us turned our heads at the same time and caught that, we were looking around for deer. We were trying to find like any explanation, and we couldn't. So
right.
that was pretty cool too. Because I haven't had a lot of like visual, like I've never seen a full body apparition yet. I haven't. So that was kind of hi, what's up, Tim? Hi. But so yeah, so Penhurst, 100% my favorite location. We've had, one last Penhurst story, right? The haunted porta potties. I wish I taped this. I wish I videotaped this. So there's no running water on the property, right?
Yeah.
None whatsoever. I can't explain this, and it sounds insane when I say this, right? So there's picnic tables, and then there's two or three porta potties, and we're all sitting there. It was like 12 o'clock, 11, 12 o'clock night. And we just hear, it sounds like someone's peeing. And we weren't thinking anything of it. And someone, it was either David or someone was like, is there someone in the bathroom? Because it sounds like someone's been taking a piss for like 5 minutes now, like just like, and so we're like, hell, like we didn't see anyone go in there, so
Right.
I go and I walk up to the porta potty and I open the door and it stops and there's no one in there. I don't know. Like, if anyone is in the porta potty industry that can explain what would make a porta potty sound like someone's peeing for like 5 to 10 minutes straight. Hey, Chris witnessed the haunted porta potty. Um, please, if you work in the porta potty industry, tell me why this happens because I don't understand, but as soon as I opened the door, it just stopped. And it was so weird. We were laughing so hard. I'm like, why didn't I video this? Like, I'm so stupid. That would have been
Right.
quite the
Yeah, that would have, because you don't hear that very often.
no, and it's like it's a poor like it's just so random, you know what I mean? Like so random. I don't know. I mean,
I could
I
just
would love to.
imagine that ghost that was in there when you opened that door, that embarrassed look he probably had on his face.
Excuse me, this is the men's room. Like, I don't know. I really don't know what to do because I literally looked like like I didn't want to, but the investigator in me was like, I have to do
Right.
this, and like I looked in to see if there was like I'm not that a frog floating around or a woodland creature in the toilet would make it sound like it's peeing for 10 minutes, but still, like I was trying to find any explanation for it and I couldn't. It was so bizarre. Right? Isn't that weird, Tim? It was so weird.
Well, like your Shanley incident, I had a similar one at Waverly.
Oh,
Where
I'm jealous. I want to go.
I got pinned to a surgery table to where I couldn't move.
Yeah, you told me about that. That's crazy.
Two
Yeah.
women screaming in the hallway.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm really jealous. I want to go to Waverly. That's my United States unicorn. Um, I'll make it there. I want to get there hopefully next year. So
It's an active place. I mean, we had some good evidence out of there,
yeah.
especially on the first floor with the millimeters and the K2s all coinciding with each other.
Oh, nice. Nice. Very cool. Yeah, I want to yes, Waverly is my United States unicorn and my international unicorn location is Brands Castle. I want to go or all of the castles that Vlad the Impaler stayed at, but I want to go to Romania, I want to go to Transylvania, I want to hit up definitely
Nice.
Brands Castle.
Yeah, there's quite a few on our bucket list, like Penhurst is on ours.
Go do it. Highly recommend, even if you don't, it's like one of those places that just like the buildings, the architecture, the property. There's so many buildings. They just opened the Quaker building up for the first time this year. That was a never opened up building yet. So that was cool getting a chance to investigate that. And they opened up the infirmary the year before, which last year they made us hike all the way out to, which is like off the main property. But this year they put you in a golf cart and drove 90 miles per hour to the infirmary. So that was like the scariest part of the evening. I actually have a video on my TikTok and my Facebook reels of that. Of me on the golf cart going, oh my God, we're gonna die. But it was nice not having to walk all the way out there this year. That was very pleasant.
Oh, nice. If any of the audience have any questions for you, we've got about 25 minutes left.
Nice.
Feel free to ask.
Oh God, Tim, there was a lot at Penhurst too. Tim said there's a lot of bats. He heard there's a lot of bats at Waverly. Wear a hat. Yes, there is a lot of bats at Penhurst as well. Definitely.
Yeah, there is a lot of bats at Waverly. We experienced them coming flying down the hallway at us, especially down in the body chute.
Yeah, I had ones diving at my camera light in the Quaker building at Penhurst. And I was like, "Oh, sky puppies!" Everyone's like, "Oh my God!" I'm like, "Oh, but they're sky." I'm sorry. The little bats are the sky hamsters, and the flying foxes and like the big ones that aren't from this country, those are sky puppies. Um, But I'm like, I'm vaccinated for rabies. I'm an ex-vet tech. I don't care. It's back. I
Right.
really, they don't bother me any. I think they're cute.
Missouri State Penitentiary, same thing with the bats down in the dungeon cells. They come flying down the hallway.
Yeah. Oh man, we were at in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. Oh my God, they did an episode of Destination Fear like months and months and months after we even went there. I forgot that they called it something different. I can't remember the name. It's driving me nuts. There was this old nursing home that we investigated before like anyone. We were the first two teams in there, and we probably shouldn't have been because it was like soggy and moldy and gross. Like
Oh yeah.
it was not a good place to be in, you know. But on the second floor, there were there were these we had a video of this too. This was a few years ago. There were these bats and they were just flying back and forth back in the hallway. Boom, boom. And we were trying to cross the hallway to get to the other side. And like all my other team members are freaking out. I'm laughing at them, right? So they were taking turns. So when the bat would go by, like one of the team members would run. And then the bat would go by the other way, and another team member would like run. Because like no one wanted to get hit in the head with the bat. The ones with wings, not the baseball guy.
Right. I've seen that happen, especially if you're wearing a headlamp. They love headlamps.
They love the lights, yeah. Tim, you went to Penhurst, no bats. Ah, you got lucky. Fairfield Infirmary and Madison Emory, both in Ohio, has some sand activity. Nice. I need to start traveling more. You know, like I've hopefully will be in better shape by next spring to start getting out there and you know traveling more. I have my team's going to be at Fort Mifflin in Philly on the 16th, which I'll be at Sleepy Hollow Paracon, but I've been to Fort Mifflin like tons of times. We've hosted a couple events with Brian Kano, with our team ourselves. So I've been to. It's okay that I'm missing out. I love Fort Mifflin and I love Greg who runs it. Um,
Right.
but but there'll be plenty of other opportunities to go back. Unfortunately, I'll be missing out on that. And then, but I do, at least I'm going to Murdoch Whitney on the 30th for the premiere. And then we're going to do the investigation, which is a beautiful house. Um, the last place you went to? Oh, the Grand Midway Hotel. So that was on the 19th of August. I went with my team, East Coast Paranormal. The place was really cool. It was all the rooms were themed. It reminded me of like an antique shop Halloween store. So like it was just like covered in stuff. There was just everywhere you turn, there's figurines, mannequins, really cool stuff. Like it was like a Halloween lovers, like, you know, I stayed in the vampire suite, of course, and I actually had a secret room attached to my room. You went through these curtains, and there was two coffins that were not very comfortable at all, but they were fun for pictures. He's like, "Oh, I put a layer of memory foam on there, so it's a little more comfortable." And I laid in the coffin, and I was like, "I feel these springs. There's springs under this memory foam, you know." But it was fun to take pictures in. But it wasn't very active when we were there. We did have like I was doing like a necrophonic app, and I hate apps, but necrophonic's the only one I'll use because
Right.
I've had such great success with it. And trust me, I don't like apps. I don't like using apps, but I've seen it do some pretty cool stuff. So I was running the necrophonic app, and my teammate was using dowsing rods, and we were trying to see if we got like any type of simultaneous, like you know, answers, questions, whatever, and we did find out that there was like you know we didn't know any history like really at all. Blair, the guy that owns it, we kind of wanted to hear about it later on in the night. We didn't want to hear about it then. But so a woman, there was a woman, we were getting a woman coming through, and there was a child, but it wasn't her woman, and it wasn't her child, and this and that. And Blair comes walking in, and I'm kind of telling him like what's kind of coming through, and like with the dowsing rods and the app, and he's like, yeah, you guys are on to something. And I'm like, okay. He's like, do you want to know about it now? I'm like, no, wait till later. I'm like, wait a little longer. But apparently, there was a child that was buried in the basement. I forgot. I have a very poor memory, but I forgot what how the child died. But I do know that there was a picture right outside the vampire suite of this woman, and she had passed away in 1911. I don't remember her name. My God, I think it began with an M, but there's a photo of her with the little documentation, and they had to dig. Blair actually had to dig through a lot of the place looks so cool in your videos. I still want to they get planchette on the roof. Oh my God, I don't know. Oh, actually, I do know. I'll tell you in a minute, Morgs. Um, so, um, but apparently they actually found it. They had to dig and dig through records in town, but because this was buried for a while. But in 1911, the firemen, the fire department would do fireworks, right? So there used to be around Fourth of July. So there used to be a balcony, like little balconies in the front of the building, and this woman was standing in front of the building watching the fireworks, and the whole little town would be outside watching the fireworks, and it was like old school, like the firemen would put them like in the like rockets in the tube pretty much, and like, and apparently a piece of shrapnel came and and just sliced her throat open, and she just supposedly bled all over the crowd underneath her, and she passed away. And he actually has the documentation of this. He had to dig because for a long time they obviously buried this, that this happened, because the fire department didn't want to get in trouble. But this was 1911, so but yeah, so there were documented deaths. They had a police cadaver dog come in, and they found bones in the wall of the monkey room they have there, and it was like little shards of like arm bone. And they hit, like the dog hit on it, so they broke, and they found this, and they had it tested, and it was tested in the lab, and it was human remains, but they found it was old. They were old, like past, like, let's knock this whole building down and try to, like, and it was old. And they ended up having 10 more cadaver dogs come in, and all of them hit that room in that area, and they kind of just boarded up the wall and said, okay, all right. So there is still probably not like entire skeletons or anything, but there is definitely human remains in the walls of that room. It also has the world's largest Ouija board on the roof. They did have the official world's largest Ouija board at the Salem in the park across from the Hawthorne, but that was only like a temporary thing. It's not like a permanent standing. That was like they did it for a day or a week, or I don't know how long they had it there, but this, it has a Ouija board painted on the roof. The roof is questionable. I thought I was gonna die. You have to climb out a window. They give you there's a little step stool. We got there, and it was just me and my friend Rich. We got there first, and he's like, "Oh, go ahead, take a tour." So I'm gonna find these stairs, and it goes up, and there's a little plastic step stool at the window, and we're like, he's like, Rich was like, "I think this is how you get on the roof." I'm like, "Are we allowed to go on there?" Like, everyone, our friends were just there the week before. They were all taking pictures on the roof, so I'm like, I guess we're allowed to if there's a step stool. It's kind of inviting, like, go ahead. So I did my very best to not die, and I crawled out the window, and it's like a tar roof, so it's a little smushy and a little not even and questionable. I was a little afraid to wander around too much, but I did go back out later on, and I got a good picture on the roof because, come on, that's like a fabulous photo op. But there is a planchette in the stairwell. It's like a big cardboard planchette. It's just like novelty. And I asked Blair because like it's a window. I'm like, how did you get the planchette on? Because there's pictures of the planchette on the roof, and I'm like, how did you get that on the roof? Because it definitely didn't fit through that window. And it ended up being, he was like, oh, we ended up having to hoist it up there from outside. Like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, I'm like, am I allowed to be on there? Like, is it safe? Am I gonna die? He's like, well, I wouldn't recommend going out at night, and don't jump. Don't jump on the roof. And I'm like, okay. You know? So the place is really cool. Unfortunately, it wasn't very active the night we were there, but I would definitely go back. I mean, like it's very reasonably priced. You stay there, you sleep there. There's showers, bathrooms. The theme rooms are awesome, and I had a great time. So
Awesome.
yeah.
And we got about 15 minutes left if there's any more questions before we wrap up.
Let's see. Oh, so speaking of, hopefully in November I'm supposed to be, depending on my situation. So every year, me and my team have Friendsgiving at a location. So we first started this tradition at Selma Mansion when Bill Freeman was still around. Bill was amazing. He ran Selma, and we absolutely loved him. And unfortunately, he passed away, and it's not the same without him. But we all cooked little sides. My friend made a ham, and we had full on Friendsgiving at Selma. And last year, unfortunately, I had just had surgery, so I couldn't make it out there. But we did Friendsgiving at the historic Hoover House in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. So that's right outside of Gettysburg. It's about a half hour away. And our friends Pam and Steve own the Hoover House. Now, Pam and Steve are these two amazing people. I love them. I love them to death. They're great. They run the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. So every year, if you guys don't know about it, there's Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. It's usually at the Wyndham in Gettysburg, but they moved it to the Eisenhower Hotel this year. So it's going to be the weekend of the 24th, 25th, 26th, or something like that. Whatever weekend in July that is, it's going to be that Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if you guys are looking to go to, if you're going to pick one convention to go to, pick that one. It goes for it's for a good cause. It's for wounded warriors. It's all, they don't make any profit off of it. It all goes to donations to the veterans and everything. And it's just like one big party the whole weekend. It's gonna be a little different because it's at a different location. So I'll have to see. I still there's an outside pool at this one, so who knows what trouble everyone can get into this year. But everyone just parties the whole weekend, and then you go out and you go to the battlefields and you go to all the monuments, and I love Gettysburg. I would love to move out there one day. Like, I would absolutely love to.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, the bash is awesome.
We may have to come out there next year.
Yeah, absolutely. I know, I don't, if it's not sold out already, I would highly I'd go to the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash Facebook page. They posted room block links. You can always cancel. I think they give you like 24 hours or whatever. You don't have to put money down. You just pay when you get there. But I don't know if both hotels. So there's the Aspire Hotel, and then there's the Eisenhower. The Eisenhower is where the convention is, but they're literally attached to each other, both hotels. Eisenhower is known to be very haunted, but it's also a little more antiquated. So we got a room at the Aspire because I've stayed there before, because it's actually right next to the Hoffman Mansion, which is this cool little location that we investigated last year as well. So we ended up staying at the Aspire overnight. So there will be ghost hunts going on at the Eisenhower, probably at Hoffman Mansion, and which is right there in the parking lot. And the Eisenhower itself is haunted, so it's going to be like, I'm very excited to see how the bash pans out this year, actually. So.
Oh, nice. We got about 10 minutes left. Let our audience know if they want to follow you, get a hold of you. from the event or
Yes,
anything?
Tim. Yes. So I've been to NJ Power Unity, the past 2 years. I don't know if I'm going this year or not. It depends. I might be going to Rhode Island Comic Con with Chris. If I do not go to that, then yes, I will definitely go to NJ Power Unity. But as of right now, I will not be going at this moment. It's fun, but it ain't no bash. And I mean that with all respect. John, Chris, I love you guys. You put on an amazing event. But the thing about the bash is it's just like this like one big family weekend. It feels like you're on vacation with your whole fam. Like you every year you see and the NJ Power Unity is amazing too. Um they have crazy heavy hitters there. They always have all the taps guys. They always have Destination Fear, Ghost Brothers. They have so many John Zaffis. John Zaffis is actually going to be at the Bash this year, which is really awesome.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so they're getting more and more bigger people, and especially since it's all the celebrities at the bash donate their time. They get to keep their autographs or whatever, but they're
Right.
not being paid to be there because it's a charity event. But NJ Power Unity is awesome in Woodbridge. It's a really good event as well. I would say if you're in the area, Bash and NJ Power Unity are definitely my two favorites um, to go to. I will comment in the right there. You go. Can you see it? All right. So if you're not following me already, in the comments, follow Christina Westervelt. Click on me. Click on my bio. I have a Linktree account. If you click on the Linktree, my Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I also have a Paranormal Investigator Facebook page as well. But I do a lot of TikToks. I do them from haunted locations, as well as I go live pretty much every day with my pet skunk Charger. So I'm very well known for the paranormal stuff, but I'm even more well known for having a pet skunk.
Yeah, you're the only one I know that does have a pet skunk.
Yes. Yes, I have a 4-year-old domestically bred American striped skunk. His name is Charger. I've had him since he was 9 weeks old. I do a lot of TikToks with him. I go live with him like pretty much every day. He actually just ate dinner like half hour before I came on here, and now he's sleeping under the bed. He'll come up in the middle of the night and he'll come under the covers and fall asleep on me until he decides to wake me up at 6 in the morning for food. That's how it usually rolls. But yeah, so I do lives on TikTok all the time with him. So I always say my little slogan on TikTok is if you like paranormal stuff and if you like spooky stuff and you like floofy stuff, make sure you follow my channel. And I'll point the camera at Charger. But yeah, so definitely check out. I always post a lot of stuff. Yes, I've seen it on you're a hit on TikTok. Oh, thanks, Tim. It's not really me. It's all Charger. He's adorable. I always like, he's the star of the show. He's so cute. I'm so proud. I got him he lost 2.7 pounds already since January. He was 20 pounds when I brought him to the vet in January, which is entirely too big for a skunk. He should be about 13, 14 pounds. So he's been on a diet, and I weighed him tonight, and he's 17.3 pounds. So he's losing weight, which I'm very excited about. He's like my child. I have no kids. I don't want children. I don't want real spawn. I like fur children. I much prefer. I can leave him home alone and like for like the day, and I won't get arrested because he's home alone. I don't have to pay anyone. So, but yeah. But yeah. Maurice is laughing. It's funny. Yeah, I love him. He's great. So everyone knows me for Charger, and everyone knows me for my paranormal stuff, and I've been posting. I need new content, man. Like I'm running out. I got lots of videos from a lot of the rooms. I did little tours of all the rooms at the Grand Windway that I've been posting. I posted the canopy room today, and that room was the only room that like really kind of like felt weird. At the Grand Midway, it was like when we got there, it was hot, and it was just me and Merch in the building, and the whole building's hot. The first floor is hot, the second floor is hot, the third floor is hot. And we walked into the canopy room, and it was like ice cold. Well, not ice cold. It was like 15 degrees colder than the rest of that whole freaking place, you know? And we were just like, and like, I just noticed like I wasn't sweating anymore. And I was like, and Rich is like, why am I not hot? You know? And I'm like, now that you mention it, I'm like, it's not hot in this room. This is the only room in the entire place that's not hot. Um, so that room was really creepy. We did do an investigation in there, and it was just got some weird vibes going on in that room, but we didn't catch anything solid. But I definitely feel like that is, and supposedly is, the most active room in the entire building. So
Yeah, just imagine if they could work on cue, but they don't.
I know, right? If I know, I always tell, I hate that when people like get like so angry and like, nothing happened. That place isn't haunted. I'm like, first of all, I've been to Penhurst and had nothing happen.
Right.
I've been to Penhurst and my friend got bit in the freaking tunnel. You know, like I've been, some nights places are active, some places nights they're not, and people who, you know, it's like I always say, it's like fishing. Sometimes you get something, sometimes you don't. Sometimes
Exactly.
you have to sit there for hours before you get something, and sometimes you just look like a crazy person talking to the walls. But you know, it's all worth it when you get that one good experience, you know, when you get that little something that makes the thing, you wake up, you're not tired anymore, you know, you're like, oh shit, you know. So
Yep.
it makes it all worth it. So
That's like we've got a massacre site out here where I live, and you can go there sometimes at night. It'll
hmm
be really quiet. You won't catch nothing.
yeah.
Now, if you go on the anniversary of the massacre, then it's like
Oh.
the place is active.
Oh wow, yeah.
They'll
Yeah.
surround you when you're there.
Oh, really? What massacre happened there?
Hans Mill, it's the old Mormon massacre site.
Wow. Okay.
Back
Interesting.
in the 1800s, night before Halloween, a militia rode in because the Mormons were taking over Missouri in this area, and they had stole a cannon, so they were thinking they were going to start a war out here. So the
Mhm.
militia rode in out of Chillicothe, Missouri, and they started just slaughtering them.
Oh wow.
They slaughtered about 17 of them and threw their bodies down a well, women, children, men. And the ones that did escape that were wounded, a lot of them headed down south Missouri, and militia was waiting for them there. And they slaughtered them as they were crossing the river.
I wonder if like, I know we're running out of time, but I wonder if like situations like that where it seems to happen on the anniversary of the incident, if it's more of like a residual um
Yeah,
im-
a lot of it.
imprint on that particular date in time at that location. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because I feel like that would definitely leave a mark, you know.
Definitely. Well, we're got 1 minute left, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Christina, for coming on the show and
Well,
being
thank
my
you for
second guest.
having me.
And we'll stay in touch. Maybe we'll get together and collab with your team.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Definitely.
If you're ever out in the Missouri area, just hit us up, and
Yeah,
because
I hope
we'll
to
fit
be
you in.
traveling more next year. So yes, I definitely will.
We're actually working on an event for next year at a haunted movie theater, so that was
Oh,
Undead
cool.
Files. So
Oh, awesome. Very cool. Keep me posted.
I sure will, and thank you everybody for tuning in, and